this beautiful December 18th, 2020, Friday evening. I apologize that it's a late live. I actually was planning on doing a video, but it just didn't happen. And I am doing my 15-day, one video day challenge this until the end of the year, and I started yesterday. So I didn't want to, slack on that. It's my challenge, so I want to make sure that I get that done. So I figured, I'm just gonna do a live so I get today's done, and I got some really cool stuff that I was working on today as far as PDF free grabs for you guys. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about how I started my virtual bookkeeping business with less than $100. Okay, and it's a profitable business. I wrote it all down, all the things that I did from start to finish. Start to finish in my plan. So for those of you that are joining me right now, good evening or good morning or good afternoon. I know that some of you guys watch from different parts of the world. Hi, how are you? Let me know where you guys are watching me from. I'm in Arizona and it's about 9 o'clock here. So the evening is still young. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Cici Crossley. I am a freelance accountant and I've been doing this for about 15 years. And my goal is to help all of you out there that are wanting to become a virtual bookkeeper and have not ever had experience, or those of you that are in the grind with me and that are doing this on a daily, and you guys are, you guys are right there with me. So these videos are for you guys, and I just try to do my best to let you guys know that you're not alone. And, hopefully one of these days we get to meet after COVID. Anyway, to get back to it, today's video is about how I started my virtual bookkeeping business with less than $100 and with a profitable business plan. And now this business plan, I'm going to link to you after this video publishes. After the live is done, I'm going to publish it. And in the description box, I'm going to leave a link for you guys to get a copy of a free PDF for you guys. So you guys can make and start the business plan that I'm actually talking about tonight. So without further ado, the business plan. So like I said, I started with less than $100 because I was starting off. I just wanted to start. I want to start now. And that's the whole goal of this 15-day challenge. Was I want to talk about how I started now and I didn't wait. So the reason why I want to talk about the business plan is because obviously we're going to need a plan before we can get started. If you don't plan, you can't really see, your goals written out. You can't really measure your achievements, right? And so that's why I did that for myself, and that's why I recommend all of you to do it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was when you are doing something like a startup with no money, and in this case, the reason why I was able to do it with less than $100 was because I was investing my time, because all of this, isn't all of the virtual bookkeeping is virtual. I don't have any inventory or no stock and no upfront costs to dish out right away. It's services that I give and I provide with the knowledge that I have. So that's why I was able to keep it so cheap. And time is the biggest thing that we're investing in ourselves. So with all that said, when you're starting off, and some of you that just, we're all feeling the struggle bus right now, or on the struggle bus together because of COVID, or just, sometimes we all find that little drop in our businesses. And hey, from California, we're about an hour apart, I think, right? Yeah, I think about 8 o'clock your guys' time. So anyway, everybody that's on the struggle bus together, time is our investment, and when we are trying to start, especially with little upfront capital, you're ending up having to invest a lot of time, because now you're not buying into apps, you're not buying into software that'll help you. So keep that in mind as I go over these topics. Okay, and of course I have my notebook because I write I write. I'm just one of those people. If I'm on my phone, but if it's not on my phone in a notebook or on my notepad, notes in iPhone, I always write it down. That way I don't go rambling off. Okay, so the first one, in the I always say there's 6 elements of the business plan that is at least the basics, because you can dive deeper into a business plan and just go like, detail by detail, but that would take hours and we don't have hours today. So the first one is sales. So sales is the first of the 6 elements of having your business plan, and what I started with, okay? Sales, because if you don't have any sales, you're not gonna have any business, obviously, right? And being an accountant, I know that some of you out there, you feel me when we say we're good at being an accountant. I'm good at numbers. I'm good at doing that. I'm not good at being a salesman for myself, and I'm not good at marketing. But when we are virtual bookkeepers and we're working for ourselves and we want to be our own boss, we have to wear all those multiple hats. We just have to, and that's just how it is. And so that's something to take into consideration as well when we're starting with a low budget. We can't afford to hire somebody to do our marketing for us or to do our sales for us. That's going to be coming straight from us. So that's what I started with, and I said, you know what? I can do it. I'm just going to do it. You really have to be feisty, and you really have to fight tooth and nail and fight yourself. Not like fight people. You're not really fighting to get their attention. You have to fight yourself because you're the one that's in charge of getting all these clients and getting all these marketings done. It's such a struggle when you as an accountant, you can't do it. You're not really great at it, but it's something that I work on daily. So client acquisition, sales, right? I started with no funnel. And I know that some of you out there know or may have seen, about how you do sales funnels, clickable funnels, things like that. I didn't start with any funnels. I didn't even know what funnels were when I started my virtual bookkeeping and freelance accounting. I didn't do any of that. I can tell you what I did. I honestly, the first couple people that I got were through word of mouth marketing. I got these people from the people that I already knew. And I'm telling you right now, if you're starting from the very beginning, this is how you're going to start. You're going to want to get your name out there. You're going to want to tell everybody you know. It might be a little embarrassing at first. That's something that we're going to have to work on, You're a businessman, you're a businesswoman now. We need to keep the lights on. That's the kind of fire that we need to have under our belt. We need to keep the lights on. We need to pay bills. We need to feed our family, whatever it is. Find that motivation. So the people you already know, the social networks you have, and your circle. Tell everyone that you know what you're doing, and utilize social networking. I mean, technology is amazing, and in this time of day, technology. I mean, there's so many free platforms, right? You can Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know, all of them. YouTube. If you're into YouTube, into doing videos, get on it, do those things. I utilize my people that I knew, and I utilize my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and then I didn't create a actual page for myself until maybe my second client. But using the free groups and free platforms, especially free networking groups, I mentioned in my previous videos like BNI. If you kind of Google your area, and this is kind of one of those things where you're thinking about demographics and where you are going to be servicing. If you want to be totally virtual and you want to help California out, but you live in, say, New Mexico, you really have to think about how you're going to be able to service those businesses. But one of the first experiences that helped me, especially being a new bookkeeper to the game of virtual bookkeeping, because I've been doing it, I know how, but I was new to the virtual bookkeeping arena. Reaching out to the people I knew gave me experience, and it gave me the confidence to know that I could do this. And that's why it's important. It's because they're not complete strangers to me, and I didn't feel so nervous, and I knew that I was gonna want to deliver amazing work. So that is how I started my client acquisition. Literally the people you know. It sounds silly and simple now saying it out loud, but honestly, reach out. Get on Facebook, get on those groups, get your name out there. The more you associate your name with what you do, the more other people are going to associate your name with what you do. So for me, it started locally, but then it was locally that I met them, but I did their books virtually. So that's how I did it. I did not work in their offices, no. The second element is marketing. Ooh, marketing. I cannot tell you how much I can't do marketing myself. And it's one of those things where, because I can't do it, I have been studying so much about marketing because it just doesn't retain to me. You can give me accounting equations all day. We can talk about fixed assets and depreciation and amortization all day. But marketing doesn't stick. It's not my territory. But because I am my own boss, I needed to do it. So I use free social platforms, like I mentioned, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything. Anything where I was on, I was just put it out there that I was doing this. But how I did it, okay, I was very strategic about how I did it. I used a couple free apps. The first one was Canva. Canva is like a free digital, like graphic design, digital marketing like platform that you can do it on your app, like on your phone, or you can do it on your computer, on your desktop or laptop. So Canva is free to use. They do have paid upgrades that you can do, but they're amazing. So what I did was I would create little clickable pictures and ads, like I say ads, but like marketing material for myself, so that it wasn't just me saying with my words. You know, I would take a picture of myself, just a selfie, or I'd have somebody take pictures for me, and I would get started by using Canva to be my graphic designer. And I used those pictures for opt-ins and my free PDFs for my client acquisition. Now with that, I also, because the whole name of the game is client acquisition, right? What a lot of people don't realize is, and I talked to a lot of my older students, they didn't realize why having an email list was so crucially important. And let me tell you why. It's because people might not be ready for you now, but they will be ready for you maybe when the time comes, especially around significant accounting periods, like the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So, you know, like you could be shouting at the top of a mountain, but if you've got no audience to talk to, even if it was 10 people, I think my first email list was comprised of 10 people. I think they shut me off, to be honest. They probably put me in spam or whatever. But I still started one, and it grew slowly and it grew slowly, and I was able to start to cultivate that email list and reach out and touch base. And then eventually, you know, I would get a response back and they'd say, hey, yeah, you know what, this looks good. So in that, in the task of building my email list, I had free graphics using Canva. And what I did with that email list is, as I grew it, I nurtured it, and I at first for free, what I did was I used Google Forms. Google Forms so if you have a Gmail, right, you can sign up for Gmail for free. If you have Gmail, you have access to their Google Drive. And in Google Drive, they have Google Docs, Google Sheets. So Google Docs is the equivalent of Google's equivalent of Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is the equivalent of Excel, but on Google. And then Google also has this really cool Google Forms option. And with Google Forms, you can capture emails. So I used Google Forms to capture emails, and what it would do is you would have this really pretty form up front that you could link, you could send a link to, or link it on a picture, and you can click, your clients or your future clients will click on the picture, and it would take them over to the Google form. And the Google Forms is pretty form, and it would have all the information and say all the things I wanted it to say. And from that information, it would start to build a list in Google Sheets, an Excel style list, so that I had now started to do my list. But, however, I used MailChimp for a long time, and then I moved over to ConvertKit. But MailChimp does up to free, I think 2,000 people for free, or 2,000 emails for free. So you can utilize something like that, like an actual email software if you want. But remind you that, like I mentioned in the beginning, time is what you're working with there. Time is going to be your greatest, I don't know if I have the word for what I'm going to say, like your greatest expenditure, because you're going to be having to work more manually. You know what I mean? Not totally manually, but because we're not building a big team with a starting budget of less than 100, we're going to be doing a lot of work by ourselves. Moving on. So when you do an amazing job, you get your first couple clients, and then those couple clients, like I talked about, those clients, and I mean all of your clients, you should be doing this anyway, but those couple clients in the beginning, you need to knock it out of the park for them. You need to be amazing. So much so that they become your ambassadors, and they give you free marketing, free word of mouth marketing. And that is honestly the reason why I mean, all of my marketing is organic, and it's all word of mouth now. At one point of the busiest time of my virtual bookkeeping career, I had to turn away clients because they were I was getting referrals from other people because I was doing such great work. A lot of the referrals came from CPA that I work with, and teaming up with the CPA helped with my marketing because I always kept a really good relationship with her, and we worked together. I will be dropping another video. If it's not my next video, it'll be the following video. It'll be at least in the next couple of days about how easy it is to work with a CPA and what you need to do to work with a CPA. And that's all I'm going to cover. I don't want to go into detail about that because that's going to be for a whole nother video, I promise. So today's video is about business plan, all of this. So again, word of mouth marketing, went through that. Okay, flip this. Oh wait, did I write anything else? Cheese and crackers. Oh, I did. Just on the wrong page. Okay. And we're talking about marketing. We talk about websites, right? Do you need a website right now? Probably not. You don't need it when you're first starting off. You can use Facebook pages. That's free. You can even use, I think, Wix and Weebly, I don't know how to say that. They have free options to actually have websites for free. I mean, the address might not be as savory, like say it's like wix.com/bookkeeper bootcamp, and you might see Wix ads everywhere, but it's still free and you can still use it. It's not going to harm anything, right? However, if you didn't want to go that way, you can make a free Facebook page. Those are everywhere now. And with Facebook, they have opportunities where you can sell your services and they will do the merchant processing for you. But I didn't start with the Facebook page. I didn't start with the website. I started with my Facebook page first. All right. And with that Facebook page, what I wanted to mention is that's how I was able to collect emails. So utilize that Facebook page, not just to have a page. My whole purpose was client acquisition. So moving from sales to marketing, every time I marketed, what I was trying to do was I was trying to make sure that anytime someone stopped on my Facebook page, anytime someone stopped on my anywhere, or clicked on a picture, looked at something, there was always a link to my Google Forms that would allow me to capture their emails. Capturing their emails was the name of the game. And let's see. Amongst all that, I never paid for any ads. All of this was organic. No paid ads on Facebook. I still to this day have never used paid ads. You can if you want, but here's the thing, is you can't, you can. You can do whatever you want, right? We're adults. We can do whatever we want. It might not be wise to pay for ads if you aren't already established and you don't already have proof that you are capable of doing what you're able to do. Meaning, if you're starting off and you're brand new to the game of virtual bookkeeping and you pay for all these ads, but you don't have any substance, and you don't have any reviews, you don't really know if your product works. and if you can do what you're saying you can do. You're basically burning your money. It's like throwing your money in the trash can. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you are out there right now and you do have the experience, I would recommend it. You know, really narrow down your niche on Facebook ads and just your demographics, not your niche, but your demographics, narrow that down, and then work on it from that. But I would only recommend paid ads if you are already established. All right. And then I mentioned in previous videos that I went to free networking events, and I think I mentioned it earlier, like BNI. There was this event here called 360 Marketing or Social Networking. Before the whole COVID thing happened, I would always try to make it to local events here and try to make it so that I could utilize whatever I wanted to get my name out there. And plus, being an accountant, like I said, marketing wasn't my strong point. So I did everything that I could for free so that I could learn how to do what I needed to do. All right, the next element to this whole recipe of business plan is finance. Now, this is where I'm in my element, finance. A lot of times when I talk to people about their business plan, I'm like, finance, make sure you talk to a CPA, an accountant. That's us. We're not CPAs, but we are in the element of accounting. We are bookkeeping, and bookkeeping is the foundation of accounting. Okay, so QuickBooks Online is what I used, and PayPal. PayPal is what I use as well to send out invoices, to collect payments. PayPal was awesome. PayPal I still use, and QuickBooks I still use, and they're both free. So, I mean, that's why finance, that whole element, easy. We do that. This is what we do. Operations is the next element. Now, there's a little bit on this page about operations. Operations is the machine that will keep all of this working. Okay, all of these elements working. This is like the engine. So I did it with just me. My operations team is what this is what I was doing. In my head, I was building an operations team. Of course, it was going to start with just me first. But in my head, I wanted to plan to already bring people on, or already have an accumulation of colleagues that work together, something. So it wasn't just going to be me for very long. So what I did when I was just doing my own work is everything I did, I would write down an SOP, a standard operating process or procedure. I would always write down everything that I did, every process that I did, and I kept that on Google Sheets, on my Google Drive with my Gmail, so that I always had something ready for the team in my head that I was already going to bring on. So I was doing the work already, and then I would write it down. Plain and simple. So that way, when I brought on my very first assistant, I could go, hey, I need you to post marketing stuff, and here you go. This is what I'd like you to do. And I would just hand it on over. And then because I did the books, I wouldn't have to teach them accounting so much. My team wasn't there to help me be a better bookkeeper. I was the lead. I was the bookkeeping lead. My team consisted of the other elements that I needed, like marketing, like sales, things like that. So that's the kind of team I built, because if I have a whole team of accountants like myself that really struggle with the marketing and sales, we're not really helping each other out. So the next step in operations is how I delivered my services. It depended on if they were local or if they were virtual. And all of my local people were virtual, but what I mean is just like out of state or not within traveling area distances. I would utilize, obviously, the software is online. I used QuickBooks and Xero at the time. QuickBooks was the way that, I was able to do invoices for them. Dropbox and utilizing sharing sheets. And this is just like the admin stuff too. Documents, sharing anything. I would utilize at first Dropbox, then the Google Docs, Google Drive, and I would also use my software. Like Xero has a software where you can ask questions, and then nowadays same thing with QuickBooks Online. Let's see. However, here's the flip side. If I needed my clients to send me their invoice, if I was doing invoice processing, the AP side of things, and I needed them to send me correspondence or invoices or whatever, I would either have them send me, forward me an email, and this was before everything went virtual, okay? I called it right. Virtual was gonna be the way to go. Totally called it. I probably didn't call it first. People probably called it for me, claiming that it's not my claim. But what I would do is I'd give them a little template that said, and these are for the bigger accounts where they wanted me to do the processing, and they didn't want to physically scan these hard copy invoices and then send them to me. They were like, well, what's the point in that? Some of my clients at first did that because they had no choice to. But eventually what happened was we would reach out to those companies, those vendors, for my clients' vendors, and we would tell them to email their invoices instead. So send it electronically. And they would, at first, you can have two different options. They could send it to your client, and your client can forward you the email with the attachments. All of that totally works. And another thing that I do, and it's definitely an upcharge and something that I definitely hope that some of you might be able to take advantage of here soon, is I created an email address specifically for incoming invoices from clients. So client invoices that I needed to process. Depending on the client and depending on the volume, I have a separate inbox that I give an email out to, and I'll create a new email if I have to for my clients to give their vendors to say, hey, please from now on send all AP invoices to this email below. Bookkeeper.com. She is our bookkeeper, and she will be recording and making payments for AP. So that's how I did that, and that was completely free. Less time spent scanning, and nowadays in COVID, it definitely is a workflow that I hope that some of you guys are taking advantage of. Let's see, but if they were nearby or I could travel and meet them in person, I would. But otherwise, what I would do is I would conversate and communicate with my clients on Zoom or FaceTime. But I preferred Zoom because I could record it. And honestly, having communication, I can't speak, it's late. Having communication is probably the best thing that you can do to keep your client happy. If you aren't doing any face-to-face meetings with your clients, you need to do face-to-face videos. Face-to-face videos, video chats, and video meetings with your clients, because you're not sitting with them in the office, and having that element not there with them physically can start to build mistrust and uneasiness. So keeping that communication line open and free is completely important. So keep that in mind. Let's see. And what I would do is every time I had, this is all operations, guys. So anytime I had new clients and I would meet with new clients, I would keep my notes on Google Docs. I would avoid keeping them on paper like this. This is just like my notepad, my scratch pad, stuff that I don't always keep. So I keep their notes, and I created their own profile on Google Docs, and because it's free, Google Docs. So each client of mine had their own folder, virtual folder in the Google Drive, just like when you're using your regular computer, and you create new folders and you put more folders, and in those folders you put documents and pictures and whatever. That's what I did with my Google Drive. I created my own online virtual network, And for some of you that are working from home, you guys know what I'm talking about. Now businesses are creating their own network that you can access that are like accounting, marketing, sales, and in accounting they have audit, blah, 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 month end, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I did before this whole pandemic started, before virtual started catching on. I needed a way to create a filing system virtually, and that's what I use, Google Drive. Let's see. I also utilize Google Calendar to schedule all my meetings and keep myself completely in sync with what I needed to do either daily for my tasks, because they also have like a daily, they have a daily task keeper. But definitely if I need, you know, if you, some of you that use Outlook, are familiar with the Outlook calendar and how it sets, you can set reminders and things, you can do the same thing with Google Calendar. So I utilize that, and Google Calendar syncs well with Zoom. So that's completely free. Let's end it here soon because it's about to go to 40. I don't want to keep you guys, and I meant to do this as a regular video, but live's just a lot better for me. Anyway, one thing I do want to point out, that is the marketing and team. Team is the other element of the successful business plan elements that I have for you guys. I do have a PDF printout that I'm going to attach to the description and to the video after it's posted once this live is over, so you guys can, you know, check back and you guys can grab that business plan for you for free. Everything that I talked about. What I want to leave you guys with this evening is that the most important part about this whole virtual bookkeeping journey for me that I've learned through helping people become bookkeepers and helping those of you that are transitioning or those of you that have been doing it, and you guys are veterans, is that it comes down to software knowledge, and technology is growing every day. So software knowledge, learning about new apps, new technology. We as virtual bookkeepers need to stay on top of that because that is what's going to save us time. So all these things that I'm talking about, if you don't know how to utilize Google Drive, you don't know how to do regular bookkeeping admin things, but virtually, you're going to really fall into a rut, because we need to take everything that used to be paper, everything that used to be in file cabinets, and we need to turn that virtual. So that's kind of the learning curve for some people. You know, they're not used to doing that, and that's something that I've learned that I've been helping with more often is the, you know, training people how to use Zoom. Not a lot of people know how to use Zoom. That was something that I had to learn, that I had to teach people to use Zoom. I didn't teach, you know, I didn't get taught. I had to learn by myself, but that's not always the case. Software knowledge with QuickBooks. You know, you could be an accounting student, but not really good with software. But that's the whole name of the game, is it's got to be software knowledge here, and it has to be retained. Otherwise, we're stuck again at, you know, and we're learning, we're on a learning curve. So that's what I want to leave you guys with tonight, that software knowledge is really important on top of everything that I talked about. Make sure that you're ready to take this on, because it can be really awesome, a really awesome career to have, and be your own boss. I'm just going to quickly see if I've got any questions here. It's not a Q&A, but I do like to, you know, say hello. What's up, everyone? Juan said, dude, I use Craigslist. I did not use Craigslist. I did not use Craigslist. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't meeting with randos. The reason why I liked Facebook is because you have to have a profile on Facebook. I can see your picture. It felt more comfortable that way. Hello from India, just outside of Houston. What's up, Sheila? Ashoma. What's going on? We got Dallas in the house. Missy says, I'm doing the virtual bookkeeping too. What up, Missy? Yeah, congratulations. Virtual bookkeeping in the house. Josephine from the Philippines. It's 12 noon her time. Oh gosh, it's not letting me scroll. Come on, scroll, scroll, scroll. And I've got Callie in the house. Well, guys, it was a real big pleasure bringing you guys all of this information. And I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Hit me up at bookkeeperbootcamp@gmail.com. And I am always available there. So we're working on getting my email back for bookkeeperbootcamp.com. The hello at bookkeeperbootcamp.com is just down at the moment due to hackers. Yay. But anyway, if you shoot me an email there, it might bounce back. The IT team's working on it. But bookkeeperbootcamp@gmail.com is available. But if you're watching this video outside of December 2020, try that email. Try the other email. Definitely answer any questions that I can and help you guys along your journey. So have a great Friday, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye, guys.